Hey guys, Paul from Net Audio here, and today we're going to talk about Kia Souls. Typically we're on here and we're showing off a bunch of big flashy stuff, and this is absolutely the exact opposite of what we're normally showing off. Kia Souls, they came out in 2010, and the first one of those that I worked on, I don't even remember what we were doing, and we were in the back little hatch area, and I lifted up the cargo floor and I saw this giant styrofoam tray. I pulled out the tray to get to the spare tire, and I was like, holy crap, well, this is a perfect place for putting a subwoofer enclosure. So we've had these designs for the first gen Souls since 2010, 2011. 2010 to 2013 is first generation. 2014 to 19 is second generation, and then 2020 to present, so we're in 2025, so they are still currently being made, and we've had Gen 1 and Gen 2 for a very long time. Gen 3 just mainly because of scheduling, but also we didn't, I have to have one here for us to build an enclosure off of. I can't just go off of photos online. Yes, they all look very, very similar, but they're not. They are all very different. We'll talk about the specs a little bit later, but for now I want to talk about the concept and how they all install. As I said, you lift up the cargo floor in the back, and you have on certain models, you have an organizer. You have a little black styrofoam organizer that's partitioned out, and you lift that styrofoam out, and there's a spare tire. If the car came with a spare, because that's just how cars are these days. The way it works is you take out the styrofoam, throw it up in the attic or something, and then our enclosures drop into place, and then you put the cargo floor back in place. When you open the rear hatch, you don't have anything that you see. You don't lose any storage space. Now you have downfire base, which is going to help get you more output. We deal primarily with DIY and end user customers. We don't ship to dealers a whole lot, but we do have a dealer network. And when dealers, especially people who are seasoned and have been in the industry for a long time, when they put something like this in and they reach back out to us going, holy cow, dude, I was not expecting that, I really appreciate that. And that says that we're doing something right. These give you good bass without any space sacrifice on a small car, other than the cargo organizer. So if you're wanting to keep the organizer, I don't really have a whole lot of an option for you, other than going on top of the cargo, which we do have designs for that. But if you want something that's discreet and allows you to still keep your car and keep your cargo space and fold the seats down and have a big open back cargo area, then this is where you want to go. All of them look very, very similar. They all have a little jut out just for a little bit more airspace. All of them give us, plenty of mounting clearance to the floor. The way that these work, we are a little bit shorter than what we normally do. So say this is a downfire box on a pickup truck, we leave 2 inches. So with this, we have 1.5 inches. And the reason we're doing that, a couple of things. When this sets down in there, it's not sitting down on the sheet metal. The plastic panels on the side of the car, they come down to the sheet metal, and they have a little leg kind of where you put fasteners. So this sits on top of that. That gives us a little more clearance. The spare tire, how it fits down into that well, we have a little clearance there also. Certain subs stick out further from the face of the enclosure than others. So if you're doing something that sits really tall from the box, JL TW3s, Rockford shallow TW1Ss, certain Sundown series and Scar series. I mean, there's a lot of options that stick out from the box. So if you're doing something like that, reach out to us. We just don't have a ton of mounting depth to work with. In other videos we also talk about our steel back plates, where we cut a hole in the back of the enclosure and we cap it off with a steel disc. That's also a very viable option on these enclosures. That gives us an extra 3/4 inch. And when you only have 4 inches of space, that 3/4 inch really makes a big difference. I'll go over my sheets with us real quick. With the first generation cars, so 2010 to 13, we have right under 2 cubic foot, 1.98 cubic foot with 5 5/8 inches of mounting depth. So that's pretty decent. That's good for some traditional 10s, traditional 8s, shallow 12s. Yes, there are 12s that are less than 5.5 inches deep, not a lot, but then we still have the option of the 3/4 inch metal backplate option. So that gets us up into like 6.25, 6.5 inches of mounting depth, which is respectable. But since since the baffle and the top of the box are parallel, we can't just shove a 5 5/8 inch sub in there, or the vent. If the subwoofer has a pole vent on the back of the magnet, it's got to be able to breathe. So that is a consideration to have. So whenever you're looking at your mounting depth, keep that in mind. Second generation is 1.96, so still 2 cubic foot, but it's thinner. So they took away some of that space, and we have 5 1/8 inches of mounting depth. If you add the back plate, that's 5 7/8. So again, roughly 6 inches, but we cannot extend that. I cannot make that taller. For the airspace that's available, I would still look at doing, shallow woofers, just because for the smaller airspace, they're going to give you better performance. We do also offer these in ported boxes. So if you're wanting to do like a real solid shallow 12 or a shallow 10 in a ported box, that's a very good combination in these cars. Gen 3 is where they really start to limit us. So 2020 and up, we have 1.5 cubic foot. So they really shrunk it down, but that's still great for shallow 12s or some 10s. But the mounting depth, you can see here, this is off of a Gen 3, just not a lot of mounting depth. So we have 4 1/8 inches, 4 inches. It's not a lot. Shallow subs are definitely going to be a must. So the steel plates will be a very good upgrade for you to get some extra mounting depth. Comparing 2010 to now in 2025, subwoofer technology has come very, very, very far, especially in the shallow subwoofer market. There are a lot of really solid shallow subs out there that will fit in this space, that will absolutely shine in this amount of airspace. I would not hesitate from running a pair of shallow 12s. You know that we like our Sundown. Sundown SML, their 10s and 12s, those are some fantastic woofers that have a lot of power potential. A pair of shallow 10s on 1,000 watts, yeah, that's a rock solid combination to look at. Again, if you do JL, we can do JL, but we're going to have to recess the subs. The TW3s are extremely popular. A pair of those would absolutely work very well in these cars, but the fit in the car is the same. It drops into the space, cargo floor goes back on, it disappears. We've got a lot of options to go over. Like I said, we can do sealed and ported. We have both possibilities on the website. Lots of room, lots of options to work with. Like I said, this is a very livable, very discreet option for adding some bass to your Kia. It's a utilitarian vehicle that's made for carrying people around the city and running errands and going out of town. That is what these cars were made for, to be economical and gas friendly. But people still want their tunes. It's the way it works. So we're just giving you some options. Hopefully this helped answer some questions. We will definitely be getting this product up on the website very soon. It's not up today, but it will be up probably in the next few days. By the time this video hits the old YouTube, we will have these on the website for purchase. If you have any questions on them as far as like application, there's not really anything we can customize or do anything fun with these, since it is something that's hidden. If you have application questions about subwoofers and what's a good match for equipment and everything, absolutely give us a shout. Let us know. That's one thing that we really push for, is matching the equipment to the enclosure, so we can make sure you're getting something you're happy with. If you have questions on it, you can hit us at email, is always good, paul@netaudio.com. Feel free to call the shop, 940-767-1800. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube comments. Just reach out and let us know, and we'll get you taken care of. Thanks, guys.